Hello everyone. Okay, today we are going to be making vegan biscuits from scratch. I will say that for a while I had been craving biscuits and gravy, and I looked up online some of the different canned biscuits that you could use and just couldn't really find one that I felt confident didn't have any animal products in it. So I started doing some research on homemade biscuits. Made these last week and made a few tweaks to a recipe I found online, and thought I wanted to share this with you guys because they're easy and they're super delicious. 7 ingredients plus a little pea protein, so I guess that makes it 8. And I'm just gonna walk you through the steps of how to quickly put these together. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use our unsweetened almond milk. I use the Califia. I don't know how you actually say it. That's how I say it in my head. We need 1 cup of that. Okay. And then we are going to put that back in the refrigerator because we don't want it to sit there. And then we are going to add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice to make a vegan buttermilk for our biscuit, or I guess buttermilk biscuits. So I have just taken a lemon. We're going to use our citrus press. Key thing with your citrus press, I know it looks like it should go this way, but you always want to put it face down, and then it's going to turn it inside out so you get the most juice out of it. Other thing is, like most half of a lemon, you get about 2.5 tablespoons of juice out of. We only need 1 tablespoon. So I'm using our little measuring cup here. So I've already got a tablespoon there. So we're just gonna stop there. We're gonna pour that in. I'm just gonna move our lemons over yonder. I'll use the rest for another recipe later. All right. Then, goodness. All right, we are going to just kind of swirl that about. And you want that to be like the very first thing you do so that you have that kind of setting and kind of, I don't know, percolating, becoming vegan buttermilk. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is we are going to measure all of our dry ingredients, and we're gonna use our classic batter bowl and just kind of put everything into our bowl. And then after that, we will add our liquid to kind of finish off our biscuits. Whenever you are measuring flour, you want to make sure to not like pack the flour. You want to use like a spoon and just kind of spoon the flour into your measuring cup. And I'm using the King Arthur flour. That's one of my favorites to bake with. And so we're just going to kind of spoon that in until we get 2 cups. And then that'll be our first dry ingredient. We'll set that down, kind of give it a little shimmy. Okay, so we're gonna dump that into our measuring cup. We've got our flour in there, and then we are going to add some baking soda, baking powder, a little bit of sea salt. That's gonna be all of our dry ingredients. So you need both soda and powder. We're gonna do we need a tablespoon of baking powder. Make sure you get these correct. Don't screw them up or you'll have that kind of tingly feeling when you eat it. I've done it before. Learn from my mistakes. All right, so we've got our tablespoon of baking powder, and then we just need a half a teaspoon of baking soda. In we go. And then we need 3/4 cup of salt. Oh my goodness. 3/4 cup of salt. Could you imagine? No. 3/4 of a teaspoon of sea salt. So I've measured out how many turns it is on this, but if you don't want to do that, you can actually, I just grind it into the base as well, do a bunch of turns, and then you can measure out your salt as well. So then I have, let's see, do I have a 3/4 teaspoon? No, but I have I have a half and a fourth, so we'll do a fourth of a teaspoon of salt, and then we'll do a half a teaspoon of salt. And you see I just ground it there, and that kind of works. Boom. 3/4 teaspoon of sea salt. And then one of the things that I added when I made this recently was I added some pea protein to my recipe and kind of bumped up the protein in my biscuits, which was fun and delicious. Nobody knew it was in there. Okay, so we're gonna do 5 scoops of that. And this is going to give us 13 grams of protein in our biscuits, okay? So then we are going to just take our, you could do a whisk, you could do a fork, you wanna just kind of swirl everything together, okay? All right, and so your dry ingredients are incorporated, and then we are going to take our vegan butter, and I really like the Earth Balance vegan buttery sticks. These are my favorite to bake with. Just like a regular stick of butter, it has like the tablespoons. We need 4 tablespoons of butter. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're just gonna cut that, and then we will put that back in the refrigerator. And we are going to, I like to just cut this into small chunks before I incorporate it into my dry mixture. And so I just kind of do slices. And the key is to make sure your butter is cold and it stays that way. So you can use a pastry blender to incorporate the butter. But I'm just gonna show you how to do it with your hands because not everybody has a pastry blender handy, and that way you know that you can do it even without a pastry blender, okay? And so we'll throw our butter in, and the other thing is you don't want to, clean hands, don't want to have to work it a long time because you don't want your butter to melt. You don't want your butter to melt, not milk, because you want it to stay cold. You want little pieces of butter in there. So you want it to kind of look like sand. So you want to work quickly and you want to work efficiently, right? So you're just kind of breaking that butter down into small little pieces and incorporating it in with your flour mixture, okay? And then once you kind of have a sand looking mixture, you can kind of tell because like your butter is like small little pieces. We could probably work a little bit better there. If you have a pastry blender though, absolutely use your pastry blender. Man, I am tongue-tied today. But again, just wanted to show you guys how easy this can be, and you don't have to have a bunch of tools. Okay, all right, so that looks pretty good there. And then you're gonna just kind of create a well for your buttermilk to go into, okay? And then I always just kind of, you can kind of see that that's kind of become buttermilk-like. So I just kind of stir it up a little bit. And then we are going to grab a mix and scraper and incorporate that, okay? So I just do a little pour, start stirring. Again, the key is to not overwork it, and just, we want like a shaggy, sticky dough, okay? So a little bit, and then add a little more. I usually do about 3 pours, okay? All right. Oh, got wild with my stirring there. Okay, let's pour the last little bit in here. Okay, and then we're just gonna make sure it's fully incorporated. We don't want any like leftover flour. We want to use up all of our ingredients, right? Okay. A little bit of flour on the bottom there. Okay. All right, so we are going to not waste any of this dough because these biscuits are delicious. And I think we've got it all there. Okay, so then we're gonna dump it out on here, and then I'm gonna incorporate this last little bit of flour. Okay, we're gonna use our flour sugar shaker here, and we're gonna just put a little bit of flour down on our pastry mat so that it doesn't stick. And then we're gonna do the same thing on top. And we're just gonna fold it over itself, maybe about like 5 to 6 times, okay? We wanna create like a 1-inch thick kind of disc and have a well, because we want like butter in our biscuits. We don't want it all melted, right? Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, another thing, if you're like, Sarah, I don't have a biscuit cutter, that's okay. Again, I'm showing you all the ways you can make this without all the tools, okay? So I just use a cup. If you have a glass cup, if you have something that is about, this is my cup, so like biscuit size, right? And then I just take a little bit of flour and kind of roll it in the flour. And then we are going to get as many biscuits out of this as possible. Press down, turn, okay? And then move off to the side. The key is not to like handle them too much. All right, and I usually get 8 or 9 biscuits out of the whole thing because we'll push this back together and make a few more biscuits. Okay. It's like a game of Tetris. How many biscuits can you get? We're getting 1 more out of there. Okay, got 5. All right, so we're gonna take that little bit of flour, just again, press this kind of together to incorporate those seams. And then I always find that my last couple are a little bit uglier, but that's okay, they all still taste delicious. All right, get a few more out of there. We'll go right up to the lip. Okay. Pinch that together. Let's see, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I feel like we're gonna get 8 today. The other day I got 9. I think it just kind of depends on how you get it all together here. Let's see. Okay. We'll make the world's littlest biscuit to go right in the middle, because I am telling you, once you guys taste these, you'll be like, I don't want to waste any of that, Sarah. I agree. I agree. Okay, so we'll just make a little bitty biscuit to go right in the center. Okay, so the key is that you want your biscuits to kind of almost touch so that you don't, so I don't want to get flour everywhere. We're just gonna go our cast iron skillet there, 12-inch skillet. You want them to almost touch because they're gonna rise better that way. So give them a little room. And then we are going to add a little bit of melted butter right on the top. Okay, and I have my oven preheated at 450 degrees, and I love using the cast iron because it just makes the bottoms nice and crispy. Like, not crispy, but it has a good texture. Okay, there we go, because we want them to almost touch. And then we'll put that little baby one right in the middle. How about that? Okay, so let's get our butter back out, melt that, we'll brush the top, and then we will be in business. So, all right. Almost forgot about this stuff. Check my hands. Okay, I've taken a couple tablespoons of our Earth Balance buttery spread, and I just put it in the microwave for like 22 seconds. And then we have our silicone basting brush out, and again we are just going to brush the tops so that they get that nice goldeny brown color and have that yummy buttery flavor. And then we are going to put them into our oven that has been preheated for at 450 degrees. I did 19 minutes in my oven the other day and they were perfect. But again, start with about 10 to 12 minutes on your oven. Kind of check them, you don't want to burn them. If you don't have a cast iron skillet, you can absolutely use like a baking pan. Just make sure that the biscuits are close together so that they touch and they rise accordingly. I hope you guys make some yummy biscuits, and these are very quickly becoming one of my favorites. And also watch for my vegan sausage gravy made with the Beyond Meat plant-based sausage. That will be coming very soon as well, so then you can make homemade biscuits and gravy. We'll see you soon.